decisions be just and fair, and in the long-term best interests of the people who live and work in our beautiful county of Dorset.
Thank you. So good evening and welcome everyone to our annual meeting of council. The first item on the agenda is the election of chairman, and I'll now hand over to the vice chairman. Thank you.
Okay, so the first item is the election of the chairman. Please can I have nominations for chairman of the council?
I beg to propose Councillor Apothecary to be chairman of this council for the coming civic year. Val has done a sterling job in chairing the council in the difficult circumstances of the last year. I would hope the lifting of COVID regulations will enable her to enjoy representing this council to the outside world in a positive manner we would wish, as well as keeping us all in line face to face. And I therefore propose Councillor Apothecary to be chairman of Dorset Council for 2021-22. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Batstone. Do we have a seconder for that, please?
Yes, Madam Vice Chairman, I would like to very much second that proposal. I think Val Apothecary's done a fantastic job over the last year under the very difficult circumstances, as has already been said, and I agree with everything that the proposer has said. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Coombs. Do we have any other nominations?
Chair Paul Kimber. Again, I would like to self-nominate myself, and the reason I'm self-nominating myself, we are a democracy, and I don't consider this a political position. I believe there should be a widespread opportunity for councillors, so I self-nominate. Thank you. If I've got a second.
Thank you, Councillor Kimber. Do we have a seconder for that nomination?
Is Councillor Louis O'Leary. I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor O'Leary. Could Democratic Services provide the vote, please?
Yes, Councillor Parks. I'll just set up that form for you, so it'll just take a couple of seconds to set that up.
Thank you.
The voting form is now in the chat panel.
Yeah, I don't have that one, Susan.
Okay. I just think it's a little bit slow, but if you'd like to give me your vote, then I will make a note of that for you.
Yeah, so Councillor Popper 3.
Thank you.
Yeah, Susan, John Andrews, I can't vote either. It's not.
Okay, John.
It hasn't come up.
Okay,
So
I think it's just a bit slow, but if you'd like to give me your vote.
Councillor Apothecary.
Thank you. I'm just waiting for the votes to come through, just to give those that are a little bit slow a chance to come through the system.
Susan, it's Councillor Wharf. I'm having trouble connecting. Could you mark me down as voting for Councillor Apothecary, please?
Certainly, Councillor Wharf, that's noted.
As Councillor Alford, also a vote for Councillor Apothecary, please.
Thank you, Councillor Alford.
Councillor Simon Christopher, a vote for Councillor Apothecary.
Thank you, Councillor Christopher. Can I just check that those councillors who have given me a verbal vote have not tried to vote electronically? Is that correct?
Confirmed.
Thank you.
Correct.
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 Thank you, everybody.
Correct.
I can confirm that Councillor Val Apothecary has received 72 votes and Councillor Paul Kimber has received 6 votes. So therefore Councillor Val Apothecary has been elected Chairman of Council.
Sign something. I, Valerie Apothecary, having been elected to the office of Chairman of Dorset Council, declare that I take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of councillors of Dorset Council. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Councillor Kimber for giving me a run for our money. I would sincerely like to thank members for supporting the proposal and electing me to this high office for another year. It's a huge honour and privilege, and I promise to continue to fulfil my duties to the best of my ability. I would like to thank Matt, Jonathan and everyone in Democratic Services, particularly Susan Dallison, who I've worked very closely with. Democratic Services work tirelessly to ensure our virtual meetings run smoothly, and I know that their efforts are very much appreciated by us all. We all know what a difficult few months we've had, which unfortunately means I've been unable to achieve very much since becoming your chairman. However, I'm hopeful that as lockdown continues to be eased, we will be able to resume the citizenship ceremonies and other civic duties. I know how hard you all work in your communities, and I very much want to support your efforts. So please, if you're organising anything that I can help with, do let me know and I will do my best to attend and help fly the virtual flag for our county. Thank you. Second on the agenda is the election of Vice Chairman. I would personally like to nominate Councillor Mike Parks. As you're all aware, Councillor Mike Parks has been my Vice Chairman since September last year, and whilst there has been little in the way of civic duties, he's been very supportive at council meetings. Throughout the pandemic, Mike has spent many hours all over the county, working shifts as a paramedic and supporting our communities. I hope that you, in turn, feel able to support his nomination to continue as Vice Chairman of Council. Thank you. Do I have a seconder for this proposal?
Yes, it's Councillor Ray Bryan, and I'm very happy to second someone who is both committed and capable to become Vice Chair under your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bryan. Are there any other nominations for Vice Chairman? Sorry.
I have an oath, yes, in the chat box, Chairman.
Yes, please speak, Councillor Ireland.
Yeah, so Councillor Nick Ireland, Crossways, and also leader of the Lib Dem group. So we're now in the third year of Dorset Council, and it's been refreshing to note that on many occasions, albeit not all, we've worked together, cross-party, in acknowledgement of doing what is right for our residents rather than following party dogma. The roles of chairman and vice chairman are essentially non-political, as Councillor Kimber has already mentioned. And in recognition of that, the Liberal Democrat group of councillors were pleased to be able to support Councillor Apothecary as the continuing chairman of Dorset Council this evening. I trust that in a similar spirit of cooperation and co-working, all the members of this chamber will be able to feel able to support our nomination of the legend that is Councillor Howard Legg for the position of Vice Chairman of Dorset Council. Howard has been a community representative for more years than he'll probably care to remember. He has been at the forefront of the Liberal Democrats on the former Weymouth and Portland Borough Council and is a previous mayor of the borough, being one of the exalted few to hold that post more than once. He continues to represent the people of Weymouth, both on this council and on Weymouth Town Council. Howard was also previously an elected member of Dorset County Council back in the day. There can be no doubt as to the experience and balance he would bring to the role, and I therefore commend him to you as the most suitable candidate for this position. Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on your election.
Thank you, Councillor Ireland. Do we have a seconder for your proposal? Would that be Councillor Taylor?
Yes, I've just put RTS in the chat bar, and I would like to.
Thank you.
I would like to second this nomination and also congratulate you on being appointed for the forthcoming year as our chairman. It gives me great pleasure to second this nomination for Howard Legg to be the vice chair of the council, and I would ask fellow members across the chamber to consider supporting him. He is a well-respected member of this council who has served his community for, as Councillor Ireland has said, more years than he will care to remember, and in fact for more years than before some of the members of this council were even born. He will bring to this role an understanding of our councils and communities that can only come with experience and mutual respect across the chamber. I have known him and worked with him for a long time and know he will execute his duty with gravitas and dignity. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Do we have any further nominations? Okay, thank you. So we will put it to the vote then, please, Susan.
Chairman, the voting form is now in the chat bar.
Thank you very much. Choosing mine.
Susan, Councillor Parks, I've not got it, but I'd like to vote for myself, please.
Of course, thank you.
Also, I don't know if it matters, but for a point of clarification, the votes come through as the leader of council, not vice chairman.
Just noticed that, Knock. It's the wrong form.
I want to make sure we don't accidentally vote for the wrong thing.
Can we get it needs sorting out, Chairman?
Chairman, I think I must have a different view. Mine says election of vice chair for 2 candidates, and I've got the options for Councillor Mike Parks and Councillor Howard Legg on my screen.
Yeah, but it's the heading.
I do have that screen.
It may be the heading that's incorrect.
It's the heading.
Chairman, if I could clarify, the announcement is to appoint a leader, not the leader of council. So I've taken the heading at the top is accurate. Election of 2 vice chair. Election of vice chairman, 2 candidates. Jonathan, you were content with that?
Yes. Did you hear that, Susan, and everybody else?
Yes, Chairman. For some reason, I can't see the heading, so I'm not able to correct it.
That's absolutely fine. It says in the banner, election of VC 2 candidates.
Correct. That's correct.
Underneath it says to appoint a leader of council, but not yet. I think the questions we're being asked to vote on this motion is for Councillor Mike Parks or Councillor Howard Legg or abstain. So I think we are okay accepting this. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Chairman, the subheading has now been changed on the form, but you have to click out of it and click back into it to see the change, but I can see the change on the form in front of mine.
Thank you very much, Matt.
Chairman, it's Councillor Simon Christopher, and I would like to vote for Mike Parks. The voting form isn't opening up, but I would like to vote for Mike Parks. Thank you, Chair, and I congratulate you on your reappointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Christopher.
Susan, it's Councillor Peter Wharf. Can you
Hello.
log my vote for Mike Parks, because my internet is very slow where I am? Thank you.
Certainly, that's noted. That's noted for Councillor Christopher and Councillor Wharf. It is a little bit slow for councillors tonight, Chairman, so I'm just giving it a little bit longer for the votes to come through.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to see the voting form, so can I have a vote registered for Mike Parks, please, from Councillor Alford?
Thank you, Councillor Alford. Chairman, I think all the votes have now come through, so the result of the election for Vice Chairman of Council is Councillor Mike Parks, 47 votes, Councillor Howard Legg, 29 votes, and 1 abstention.
Thank you very much. So I will announce the election of Vice Chairman is Councillor Mike Parks. Thank you. Thank you.
I, Mike Parks, having been elected to the office of Vice Chairman of Dorset Council, declare that I will take said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code of conduct which is expected of Dorset councillors. Sign that.
Thank you, Councillor Parks. Did you want to say a few words? Hang on. I can hear. If you want to say a few words, Councillor Parks.
Yeah, I'll just keep it very brief. I'd like to thank members for the confidence they've placed in me. I will do my utmost to do the job well and as the best I can, and I look forward to supporting the chairman over the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Parks. So agenda item 3 is apologies. Do we have any apologies, Susan?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, we have apologies from Councillor David Taylor, Councillor Derek Beer, and I believe Councillor Belinda Rideout may be late joining the meeting with us tonight if she's not already here.
Excuse me, Chairman, I am here. It's Belinda Rideout.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
So my Chairman, Derek Beer.
Oh, welcome. Okay, thank you. Any other apologies?
No other apologies, Chairman.
Okay, thank you. So we move on to the minutes of the last meeting. If there are no matters to raise on accuracy, I will confirm the minutes of the meeting held on the 15th of April 2021 as a correct record. I can't see any requests to speak, so I will take it that they are accurate. Thank you. And are there any declarations of interest, please? There's nothing in the chat bar, so I will move along to the election of leader. Please, could I have nominations for the leader of the council?
Chairman, I would like to nominate Councillor Spencer Flower to continue as leader and to continue the work he is doing to lead the council through this pandemic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wolf. Do we have a seconder for this proposal?
Yes, we do, Chairman. Councillor Andrew Parry
I'd very much like to second the proposal that Spencer Flower is re-adopted as leader of council. He's shown a deft hand in over a very difficult year with many battles for us to have to deal with as a council, and has shown great leadership and statesman-like qualities.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Do we have any other nominations for leader of council? No. Well, I would ask the leader, please, Councillor Spencer Flower, if he wants to make an acceptance speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Yes, it will be fairly brief. Once again, I'm really honoured to be elected as leader of council. When elected leader of the council back in May 2019, I made a statement that we needed to be bold and ambitious, enabling the council to maximise the benefits from becoming a unitary council. Much progress has been made in the past 2 years, Chairman, but much more work is required to fulfil our commitment to the communities of Dorset who supported LGR. We need to work at pace with further transformation involving service redesign and gaining the benefits of the economies of scale. The big challenge for us will be to overcome the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. During the past 12 months, the council and communities have felt the impact of this dreadful disease. Members and officers have done a fantastic job in supporting the communities through these unprecedented times. We should all be justly proud of what we've achieved, both individually and collectively. Moving forward, Chairman, I will continue to promote an ethos of cross-party involvement and cooperation in seeking to achieve the objectives set out in the Dorset Corporate Plan and getting the best outcomes for the residents of Dorset. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Flower. Next is the appointment of Deputy Leader and Cabinet. So it's back to you, Councillor Flower.
It is. Thank you very much, Chairman. Just to say that there aren't any changes from those that I announced back on the 3rd of September last year. I want to particularly pay tribute to Peter Wharf, who's done a sterling job in supporting me as Deputy Leader, apart from his work in his own portfolio, all the other portfolio holders and the lead members. We are really working well together. Thank you for all you've done since September, and I look forward to working with you again during the course of this year. Thank you very much, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Flower. Agenda item 9 is announcements and reports from yourself. Some of you might be pleased to know that there aren't any tonight. It's only a couple of 3 weeks ago that we had a full council. And so I've got nothing to add to what I've already said, Chairman. Thank you. Thank you very much. Agenda item 10 is public participation questions and statements. We did have one question submitted, but the question submitted from Andrew Carey, Parish Councillor, has been withdrawn. There are no statements. We have not received any petitions or deputations, which was agenda item 11. So we are on agenda item 12, questions from councillors. We've only received one, and I would like to invite Councillor Brian Heatley to ask his question. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Councillor Brian Heatley from Rodwell and Wyke in Weymouth. My question is called Adoption of a Baseline Budgeting Procedure for Setting the Dorset Council Budget for 2021-22, and I've deliberately put this to full council because consideration of the budget and the budget procedure is very much a matter for full council. At the budget scrutiny meeting of the Place and Resources Scrutiny Committee on 11th of December 2020, I suggested that the portfolio holder should select one substantial budget that should, for the 2021 budget process, be subject experimentally to a baseline budget procedure. This would be instead of the process hitherto used, which places the emphasis on examining changes to the baseline rather than examining the baseline itself. There was some support for this at the committee, represented in the minutes by the entry, a request is made to include scrutiny of the base budget in next year's budget scrutiny process. Since if we are to do this, the selection of the budget concerned needs to be done in good time, has the portfolio holder made such a selection, or if he has not done so, if and when he proposes to do so? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Councillor Heatley, and we will ask Councillor Gary to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Councillor Heatley, for the question. I stated in my speech setting the budget, the process would be enhanced for the coming year, but I had every intention of extending it. Following the matters raised at scrutiny, the Cabinet agreed that officers would bring forward plans to review base budgets for services which members may want to focus specific attention on. This will need to be done in advance of a budget setting scrutiny process so that resource allocation next year can take place against the good knowledge of a current budget. As promised at the time of the budget setting, is our intention to schedule an additional scrutiny cafe style event into the process. However, I would like us to look at the base budget. I would like us to look at the base budgets for all directorates and not single one out. The budget process is about assessing and ensuring continuity in funding for the whole council, and in singling out one specific area, we cannot achieve the overall objective. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sutton.
Could I respond,
with that, Councillor Heatley?
I'm very happy with that. I suggested one budget experimentally, and we seem to have the whole lot, which is great. I look forward to the next budget process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 13 is appointments to committees and election of chairman and vice chairman. I shall ask our corporate director, legal and democratic, to introduce the report. Jonathan.
Good evening, members. Jonathan Mayer, corporate director, legal and democratic, and the council's monitoring officer. So this report deals with the annual appointments to committees and the appointment of committee chairman. Appointments are made in accordance with political proportionality, and this report is supported by 4 appendices. Appendix 1 dealing with the allocation of committee seats, Appendix 2 the proposed nominations to committees, Appendix 3 nominations to joint panels and boards, and Appendix 4 nominations for committee chairman and vice chairman. There are 3 recommendations. Recommendation A dealing with the allocation of committee seats and appointments to committees. Recommendation 3B, delegated authority be given to political group leaders to make in-year changes. And recommendation C, that nominations for committee chairman and vice chairman be approved for this year. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Jonathan. Councillor Flower.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan, and to the team in Democratic for pulling all these papers together. And given that there appears to be no dispute or argument around the nomination of any of the committee positions or chairs and vice chairs, I'd like to suggest we move the recommendation on block. And I believe there is a seconder in the chat bar for that proposition, Chairman.
I have Councillor Ireland would like to second, I believe.
Yes, I do. Sorry, I'm trying to get off.
All right.
Yeah, I'm very happy to second this. We were happy to keep the status quo as it was. We only went through this process last September, I believe, so we're only settling it. So happy to support.
Thank you very much. Councillor Sutton, did you want to speak?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Me and my group, we won't be opposing this because obviously there's an awful lot of work gone into it and it wouldn't make any difference. But I'm afraid I do have to make the point that I think it's extremely regrettable that Councillor John Orrell, who, as most of us know, is a practicing GP, particularly whilst we're still in a pandemic, no longer has a place on the People and Health Scrutiny Committee, though I very much welcome the fact that the Conservative group has given a place on the other scrutiny committee to Councillor Heatley. So while I understand my group has no automatic entitlement to these places, I really would make the plea that when future opportunities arise, I hope allocations may be made on the basis of skills and experience rather than necessarily on party lines. But I'll keep begging in the meantime. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Sutton. I'm sure Councillor Flower will take that on board. Thank you. Councillor Kimber.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations on in your position.
Thank you.
I would like it to place on record my thanks to Councillor Claire Sutton and Councillor Ireland that gave me a place on planning, and this I thank them both for this assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure that comment's very welcome. Okay, Councillor Flower, did you want to propose these en bloc?
I've done that, Chairman.
Thank you.
En bloc, and it's been seconded. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think we could vote on this then. Thank you.
Chairman, the voting form is now in the meeting chat panel.
Thank you, Susan.
Get it to open.
Just takes a little while.
The votes are coming through, Chairman, just to assure you that it is working. It may be just a little bit slow.
Yeah, Susan, it's my parts. I'm not getting anything, but I'd like to vote for this.
Thank you, Councillor Parks. That's noted.
And Susan, could you put my vote in favour, please?
Thank you.
Hello, Susan. It's Councillor David Took from Cranbourne and Alderholt. I've not got the vote. I haven't got the vote come up on my chat bar at all. The other two did. The other two, this one hasn't appeared. Can I vote in favour?
Of course, that's noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan, it's Councillor Simon Christopher, and I also vote in favour.
Thank you, Councillor Christopher. That's also noted. Chairman, I've received 77 votes in favour of recommendations A, B and C and 1 vote against.
Thank you very much. So that's carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Agenda item 14 is democratic decision making, and I'm going to ask Councillor Flower to introduce the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Well, I've got a bit of a heavy heart about this report needing to come to council this evening, Chairman. And I think we've all experienced in the last year being able to hold our meetings virtually has been widely welcomed and a great success for local government during the pandemic. So I'm incredibly disappointed regarding the High Court ruling announced last Wednesday. And speaking with fellow council leaders across the country, we all agree that the government should allow some flexibility in whether meetings are held in person when social distancing allows, or remotely, as has been the case for the past year. I'm hoping the government will listen, and they are out to consultation at the moment, to the views of local government, and bring forward legislation as soon as possible so that virtual meetings can be part of our arrangements going forward. So we've got a report before us, Chairman. I'm going to assume that people have had a chance to have a read of it. As I said, with a heavy heart, I'm going to move the recommendations as set out in the report. And one point I would just make it: this is a sticky plaster. It's a pragmatic decision to get us past the 7th of May till the 21st of June, so we can carry on the business of the council, albeit not quite in line with how we would normally do it. But certainly legally in line with what we can do. But I would just make the point, it doesn't change the other features in our constitution around, you know, consultation with chairmen of committees if there's an issue that a particular key decision making item that, and in fact I would encourage colleagues, as they always do, come to the cabinet meeting, get a chance to speak to cabinet before a decision is made. So as I say, the recommendations are in 5 parts set out in the report, and I don't intend to go through them, but I'm happy to move the recommendations as set out in the report, Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Flower. I believe Councillor Fry would like to second your proposal.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Yes, I am very disappointed that the government has not resolved this problem on behalf of all councils across the country. There is no way that we can go back to face-to-face meetings within the accommodation available to us just yet. We've also to consider the welfare of colleagues and our officers, the fact that many may not have been outside or to any meetings in general circulation. Meeting face-to-face will be a big step for some, and this needs time to allow them to adapt. The recommendation allows democratic decision-making to continue through virtual meetings as we move towards whatever the new normal is. Therefore, I'm very pleased to second this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fry. Our monitoring officer, Jonathan Mayer, would like to just say a few words. Thank you.
Chairman, I just wanted to check with the leader and the seconder that in moving the recommendations in the report, recommendation 5, I believe, is now defunct because the court case brought by Hertfordshire County Council has been lost. So if the leader and the seconder are happy, I think it would be recommendations 1 through to 4, and recommendation 5 is defunct.
Yeah, very happy to agree with Jonathan on that point, Chairman.
Agree. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a question, please, from Councillor Wolf.
Thank you, Chairman. It wasn't a question, it was just support of the motion. I particularly wanted to agree with the very sensible comments that Councillor Fry has made. I would point out most parish councils have pulled forward their annual meetings in order to avoid having to meet in person. Most parish councils have members of an age that they do not want to rush into face-to-face meetings. It is not possible to have face-to-face meetings even with perspex screens, because there is still a requirement to socially distance both getting in and getting out of the various chambers. This is a really, really unfortunate thing we're going to have to do. And I would just like to also say that if anybody has an issue with any of the decisions, they can talk to the leader or myself as deputy leader, and we will gladly spend some time reviewing it. This is something we don't want to do, but we have to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Wolf. Councillor Legg.
Thank you, Chairman. I just really wanted to ask a question about the minded to decisions, particularly where an officer feels that he can't follow the advice which is then being proffered by a committee of elected members. Can you just, perhaps Jonathan really is the person to answer this, how is that actually going to work? Are essentially officers who will be exercising a delegated function going to be saying, perhaps on an agenda item or a report which is circulated, that this is his or her established view, and if members are minded to go against it, then he's going to have to exercise that decision contrary to what members want at the very beginning? I just wonder how it's going to work from a practical point of view if the officer exercising the delegated decision going against the minded to decision of members has to do it actually at the meeting where that minded to decision is taken.
Thank you. I shall ask Jonathan.
Thank you, Councillor Legg, for the question. I've had to be particularly careful in the report because we cannot fetter the discretion of the officer who you would put in the position of making a decision. We can't fetter their discretion and say that they absolutely have to agree with the minded to view of members, but I would find it very difficult to envisage circumstances where an officer in that position would go against the established view of members. If I can reassure you, I've had discussions with colleagues around who the officer decision maker in the room would be, and for instance, if it was a planning decision, it would not be the author of the report, who you might think had an established view and making a recommendation. It would be a separate officer colleague who would be in the room with you as councillors and who would formally make the decision at the end, and they would not be the report author. So I hope that reassures you.
Thank you for that clarification, Jonathan. We have a request to speak from Councillor Knox.
Thank you very much, Chairman. On light of the spirit of the conversation that we've just received from our leader and from the deputy leader, and the recommendations in front of us, and I think I'm feeling from most members, and certainly from the national lobbying that is going on to central government, I'm wondering whether, and I don't know how to do this, but I would like to include another recommendation to replace little 5, which is that our leader, our council and our members continue to lobby for a means to ensure that we can meet as hybrid committee and council and cabinet and meetings, whether they're parish, town, Dorset Council, in the future. So it is to encourage, with all parties, all political parties behind our leader, to ensure that that message is taken into account, because I know that the court case has not come about in the same way, but I would really like a recommendation that ensured that we continue to press for that.
Thank you, Councillor Knox. Do we have a seconder for that recommendation?
Yes, Chairman, Councillor Cook, I'm quite happy to second that. That was exactly the feeling that was going on in my head as Councillor Knox was making a point. I think we should very much lobby on behalf of parish and town councils just as much as we do for Dorset Council itself, that our whole system of local government is put at not risk but at a slight disadvantage in the current circumstances.
Thank you. Councillor Flower, would you be prepared to adopt this 4th recommendation?
Yes, I would, Chairman. It fits very much with what we've done in the last 6 to 8 months or so in lobbying government. And Rebecca's absolutely right to underpin the belief we've got that there has to be some flexibility going forward. There is a period of consultation which the local government ministers organised, but I'm more than happy to reinforce that with a letter to the minister from me, once again referring to the benefits that we've all achieved from virtual meetings. So happy to do that.
Thank you very much. So we will vote on the amendment first, please. If you can put that up, Susan, I know it's a bit of a surprise to you. Are you all right there, typing furiously?
Sorry, Chairman, I was on mute. Yes, I have got an amendment when you are ready to take that vote on the amendment.
Well, we'll take the amendment first, please.
Okay. Sorry, did Jonathan want to say something?
Jonathan, did you want to speak?
Chairman, it was just to confirm that this would be an amendment. And I think that's how you're dealing with it, so that's fine. Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to post the voting form now, Chairman, and this is voting on the amendment as proposed by Councillor Knox and seconded by Councillor Cook.
Thank you.
Susan, it's Mike Parks again. I'm not getting the voting, but I will support the amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Parks. That's noted.
Susan, it's Councillor Peter Wharf. I will also support the amendment. I can't vote. Thank you.
Thank you. That's noted.
Hello, this is Councillor Janet Dover. I will support the amendment. I can't get a reply from anything at the moment.
Thank you, Councillor Dover. That's noted.
Councillor Simon Christopher, I vote in favour of the amendment.
Thank you, Councillor Christopher. That's noted.
Susan, it's Councillor David Took from Cranbourne and Alderholt. I still can't vote in the chat bar, so I would vote in favour, please.
In favour. Thank you. That's noted. Chairman, I can announce the result. That is 74 votes in favour of the amendment, 1 vote against and 2 abstentions. The amendment is carried.
Thank you very much, Susan. So we will now please return to the original motion, which has been proposed and seconded. Councillor Flower and Councillor Fry seconded it, and we'd like to vote on that now, please. Which includes the amendment we've already voted on.
Susan, Councillor Peter Wharf, can you vote for me in favour, please? Thank you.
One moment. I'm just going to post the form. The voting form is now in the chat panel, members. So this is the substantive motion, which includes the amendment at number 5. And Councillor Wharf, you're voting in favour of the substantive motion.
Susan, it's Mike Parks, and I also vote in favour of the motion.
Thank you.
Janet Dover, I also vote in favour. Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry, but I vote in favour. Sorry, my widget isn't working again.
Thank you, Councillor Dover. That's noted.
I vote in favour.
In favour. Thank you.
Susan, it's David Took again from Cranbourne and Alderholt. Again, nothing's come up in my chat panel.
Okay.
I will vote in favour.
In favour. Thank you. That's noted.
Hi, Susan.
Hello,
Sorry.
Councillor Knox.
I have no issues voting whatsoever, but I wanted to let you know you're doing an excellent job and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant, Knock.
Brownie points awarded, Knock.
That's so Knock.
Chairman, I can announce the result. I think most of the votes have come in. So that's 75 votes in favour of the substantive motion, 3 votes against and no abstentions. So it's therefore carried as amended.
Thank you very much, Susan. Brilliant. Agenda item 15, there are no urgent items. Agenda item 16, there is no exempt business. So at 19:18, I close the meeting and thank you for your attendance. Thank you.